What's up, runners? My name is Ashley. I'm an instructor here at Campus Rec, and today I'm going to be leading you through about 20-25 minute balanced yoga flow. This is going to be a little more difficult than a regular yoga flow we've been doing here for the Campus Rec YouTube and Instagram pages. We're going to be moving slower with more precise movements. We're going to be adding a little more difficult variations to regular yoga poses, and we're also just going to be throwing more balanced poses into our flows than we normally would. We're going to need a towel or a mat to do our practice on, have water nearby. Promise to listen to your bodies, take a break, reset at any point, and just have fun. We're going to go ahead, get set up, and get started. Let's go. Our yoga practice today, just set your device in a position where it's easy for you to look over for a visual image if any of the cues aren't quite clicking with you. And just know at any point if I'm moving to different corners of the mat, that's just to give you a different vantage point, and you're perfectly fine wherever you choose is most comfortable on your mat. So we want to go ahead and make sure our feet are right under our hips. We have a soft bend in our knees. Go ahead, lift up through the chest as we inhale. Feel that torso lengthening. Exhale, our chest deflates, the belly button sinks into the spine. Just taking a few deep breaths, being aware of our posture, shoulders back, tiny bend in the knees. If we like, we can lift, lower our head, start warming our neck up, but just focusing on breathing at our own pace. Inhaling up to 3, exhaling down from 3 to 1. We're outside listening to the sounds of the wildlife. Maybe our apartment or home is in a busy area. We can hear people talking outside, cars going by. Whenever I've been in that situation, I pretend the cars driving by are ocean waves and that I'm on the beach. Just take the last few breaths and then begin moving our shoulders in big circles up by the ears, and then down deep in our sockets. We can keep our eyes open or closed, whichever you prefer. Begin wiggling those fingers, getting feeling, motion in our appendages. Go ahead, switch directions. If we were rolling those shoulders up towards the back behind us, and we're now rolling the shoulders up towards the ears, and then down forward. One last inhale, and exhale, drop those shoulders deep in our sockets. 2 neck rolls to the right, however big of circles we can draw. Maybe our neck, upper back is still a little tight. Lift that head up, switch directions. One last neck roll, and lift that head up. So let's go ahead, inhale up, reach our arms up to our full sun. Again, do the spirit fingers if we'd like, and then exhale, lower our hands down back to our sides, really pushing all parts of our feet into our mat, starting to establish that foundation for when we move into some of our single leg balance challenges. We're going to be using all parts of that foot to carry all of our weight. Best start practicing now. So inhale up, 2, 3, exhale down, 3, 2, 1. One more time, inhale up, and then as we exhale, drop the right hand, reach over with the left, really push that hip and all parts of that foot into our mat. So it's inhale, up into full sun, exhale, lowering down into our lateral flexion. Again, pushing the entire side of the body, that's reaching over our head, lengthening from heel up to hand. One last time to the right, and then down to the left. Big inhale, And then as we exhale, swan dive into a half forward fold. We're gonna have a flat back. So again, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulders, tiny bend in the knees. So inhale up, exhale, lower into that flat back. Start to feel our hamstrings loosening up a little bit. I'd like to ease y'all into this before we transition down into our full forward fold. If you'd like to take one more breath, feel free to do so, but then after we're ready and we take that next exhale, lower all the way down into a full forward fold, wrists underneath the shoulders. Again, let that head relax. Top of our head is pointed towards our mat. From here, let's just walk our feet back and lower into our tabletop. Again, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Squeeze that belly button to the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades so we have a flat back. Neutral neck. Looking at the top of our towel or mat. So as we inhale, we're gonna tuck that chin into the chest, push the shoulder blades to the spine. And as we exhale, lift that head up, exaggerate that lumbar curve, cat and cow. Really wanting to loosen up, warm up our back. Go through about 2 more cat cows. Once we meet in our neutral spine, let's go ahead, flip those toes, and then push the heels towards the mat. We want to form an upside down V in our downward facing dog. Let's go ahead, inhale, shift into either a full or a kneeling plank, whichever we prefer. Exhale, squeeze the belly button, squeeze the elbows in towards the belly button, chaturanga. Inhale up, baby cobra, and exhale, flip the toes, push back into our down dog. One last time, inhale, full or kneeling plank, flat back, squeeze that belly button. Exhale, slowly lower in kind of a tricep push-up. Inhale, baby or full cobra. Exhale into our down dog. While we're here, take a few breaths, pedal those calves out, one at a time. See how close we can get the heels to our mat. From here, coming back into our down dog, I want us to lift our heels up as high as we can and then shift them over to the side. Shift our shoulders over our wrists in a modified plank. We want to be able to see the arch of our right foot, but just the heel of our left. So let's go ahead, open up into a side plank. Reach the fingertips to the sky or plant the hand on the hip, open the chest, squeeze that belly button to the spine. One more inhale. Exhale, lower the hand down into that regular plank with the right foot. Step up into a runner's lunge. Make sure that left heel is lifted. We're up on our toes. Release those hands, lift the chest up into our warrior one. So we can stay here, hands by the sides, graduate up into heart center, or come up all the way into full sun for the greatest balance challenge. If our arms need a little bit of a recovery, that's perfectly fine, but we're actively pushing the right hip back, the left hip forward. Chest lifted. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Big inhale and exhale. Let's go ahead, sweep on down, back into our runner's lunge. Plant those palms just in front of our toes. Go ahead, shift back into our downward dog. Let's go ahead, cycle through a sun salutation. But in this time, after chaturanga on the exhale, let's shift into a child's pose. Stretch out those arms real quick. Give them a moment to themselves. One more inhale and exhale. Coming back up into our downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. This time, when we lift up onto the toes, we're going to pivot towards the right. So now it's just the left arch of the foot we can see, the right heel. Shift into that modified plank. Take a few breaths and then open up. Again, that option, hand on the hip or towards the sky. Keep a soft bend in this elbow. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly rotate back down into our plank. We're going to shift the left foot up. Be sure the right heel is lifted. And go ahead and lift our chest up, sweep the arms if we're ready. Or again, we can have them by our sides. Work up to heart center or full sun. And again, the challenge comes in moving slowly and purposefully into that warrior one or high lunge. So again, we're pushing that back hip forward, the front hip back. Nice and square. It's not just challenging our legs and our arms. We're engaging, we're holding that position by squeezing our torso in, lifting that chest. One more inhale. Exhale. Good, release those hands to our heart center. And go ahead, fold forward, back into that runner's lunge. Step the foot back into our down dog. Cycle through sun salutations one last time. Inhale up, baby cobra. Exhale, child's pose. If we like and we want to, we can widen the knees so that way not only are we stretching our arms, we're stretching our torso. Our chest bows closer to our mat. One more inhale and exhale, pushing up into our tabletop. And then nice and slowly take a whole breath cycle to do this, an inhale and an exhale. Lift those toes, squeeze the belly button to the spine. Exhale into our down dog. So we're gonna step with the right foot forward right away into that runner's lunge. But this time I want us to drop our left heel so that it's at about 45-degree angle, pointing away from where our right foot is pointing. And when we lift up, we're gonna turn that torso to face where the left toes are pointing for our warrior two. So we should feel our pelvis and hips tucking, our chest lifting. Our arms form a straight line through our collarbone. Again, I'm going to pivot so you can see a front view. Breathing, keeping that right knee from collapsing in. As we inhale, I want us to send that right hand behind us over the head, and then as we exhale, lean over, reach over with the left hand into extended side angle. So inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. This is our dancing warrior. We're constantly moving, but we're still pushing that pelvis forward. We're squeezing the glutes. Squeeze the belly button to the spine. Keep the chest lifted. One more time, inhale, reach up overhand, give the person behind us a high five. Exhale, extended side angle. Come back up as if we're gonna go into warrior two. This time come to heart center. We're gonna shift to face our torso towards that right leg, lift on up on that left heel, and we're gonna step to the top of our mat. But I want us to kind of hinge our chest and push into that right heel. So as we lift forward, we're using that right leg to control our step up with the left, nice and slow. Come to the top of our mat. Inhale up, full sun. Exhale, swan dive down to our forward fold. So plant those palms and walk our feet back into our downward facing dog. Same thing now with the left. Let's step that right foot, that left foot up into that runner's lunge. Go ahead, drop the right foot at an angle, and then go ahead, push those hands, slowly lift the torso, rotate to face to where that right foot is pointing. Bring those arms to a T. Take a breath here or two. Make sure again, we have that chest lifted, squeezing the pelvis forward, glutes engaged. Tension from fingertip to fingertip. Inhale, left hand reaches behind us. We're sending a high five. Exhale, elbow on the knee, reach over hand. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Keeping that 3 count. If we need to adjust it at any point, just know that's perfectly fine. Still remembering that form, those cues for keeping our legs engaged. Don't let that left knee collapse. One more time, inhale back. Exhale forward. Come up. Warrior 2, bring those hands to heart sitter. Pivot towards the front, lifting that right heel. So again, hinge the chest forward, leaning more on that front leg, pushing the weight in through our heel, so that as we lift up through that leg, we're nice and supported as we shift up to the top of our mat. Let's inhale up, full sun. Exhale, lower. Our hands to our side in our mountain. If we need to shake out a leg, dorsiplantar flex a foot, we want to do a quad or a calf stretch, feel free to do so. Taking stock of our body, listening to what it needs. Maybe noticing it was easier to step up with the right leg in forward than the left. Noticing there's little imbalances here and there in our body, and just know that's perfectly okay. We're going to work on them together, strengthen them day by day. Again, I want us to find the top of our mat. And we're going to go ahead and step that left foot back into a little bit of a shorter warrior stance. It might have been a little further out here when we were in full warrior, but we're going to have that foot about a foot length closer than it was for our dancing warrior in our warrior series. So I want us to bring those arms to a T, and we're going to slowly straighten that right knee. And as we lean our torso over that right knee, start to kind of move that left foot in a little bit closer. We're going to transition up into our half moon series. So if you'd like to watch, feel free to do so, but basically keeping that right toe pointing out in front of us, we're going to keep our chest open. Go ahead, slowly lift up onto that heel, straighten that right leg, and just kind of tip yourself over into half moon. If at any point we need to catch our balance, you can tap that toe down, come out all the way, just get set up again and work your way into it. But the goal is to slowly control the tip over, keep the chest open. You can have those arms in a T if you need to. Put that top hand on our hip and keep that left foot flexed, the toes pointing out to the side. I know the right foot is wobbling. We want to keep a tiny bend in that knee. Big inhale. Exhale, go ahead, release back into that modified warrior two. Bring the hands to heart center. Turn to the front. Lean the chest forward. And then slowly step that leg up next to the right foot. So again, shake out the right leg, roll out the ankle. Take a few breaths. Get set up to do the same thing with the left. And again, if it's easier to balance in half moon for one side than the other, just know that's perfectly normal. So again, now we're going to step the right foot back. So it's our left foot pointing out in front. Start in that shortened stance with the knee bend. Remember, our arms come into a T. But when we transition to half moon, begin heel toeing that foot in, lifting up onto those toes. Lift up through the chest, tip over like a teapot into our half moon. And I'm a little wobbly on this side, like I said, like most of you are. May just be from general muscle imbalances, maybe it's from an injury. I know mine is. This poor ankle's been through a lot, but we're working on it. Remember that option. Tap the foot down, top hand onto the hip. Just remember to breathe at our own pace, and if we smile throughout, we're already doing the most challenging variation. Transition slowly, keep a tiny bend in that knee. One more time, big inhale. Exhale, go ahead, slowly lower back. Bring those hands to heart center. Twist that torso towards our left foot. Push through the heel, lift up. Transition to the top of our mat. And again, shake out what we need to. Big inhale, full sun. Exhale, lower those hands down to mountain. Tiny bend in those knees. Just take a few breaths here. Thank yourself for trying something challenging, for following along, taking the time to try a new type of yoga flow that maybe sounded a little scary. Thank yourself for listening to what one leg needed versus the other. Pausing to get a sip of water. Think of how we accomplished the goal or the reason that brought us to this yoga flow today. Taking one last breath for ourselves here in our mountain. Let's go ahead. Inhale up, full sun. Exhale, drop the left hand. Extended lateral flexion. Really pushing the hip, the heel into the ground, reaching overhead with that right hand. Keep squeezing the belly button to the spine, tucking that pelvis, weave a neutral spine, like so. Inhale back up, exhale other side. Just constantly being aware of our posture, even as we're cooling down. Keep that core engaged, keep pushing the pelvis forward. Big inhale, exhale, inhale up, full sun, lace the fingers, flip the palms to the sky, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Good, release, flip down behind us, same thing, really opening the chest. One more inhale, and exhale, go ahead, release, shake the arms out, and just go ahead and make sure again, our feet are under our hips, tiny bend in those knees. Go ahead, shift the weight over to the left side, bend the right knee, grab the top of that foot. As we push the foot into the hand, keep lifting through our chest, tucking the pelvis forward, getting a quad stretch. We squeeze the glute really hard on that right side. You can get 2 for 1, a glute and a quad stretch. Go ahead, release, get set up, feet hip distance apart. Shift the weight again. Same thing on the left. Keep that chest lifted however we need to balance with our hand. Push too far on that foot, it'll cause our back to curve. Might be a little uncomfortable later when we're not expecting it. So really try to stay as tall as we can. And go ahead, release. We'll take a big inhale up into our full sun, and then swan dive into one last deep forward fold. Stack the wrists under the shoulders, let the head relax. So we're getting a quad and a hamstring stretch, and then we're also taking some pressure off of our lumbar spine. If you really want to work on your flexibility, you can lift your feet and place the palms underneath the balls of your feet. Whichever we prefer. Maybe we just want to focus on how good this feels for our back. Ready. If we haven't already, release those hands. And as we roll up back tall, I want us to take 3 inhales and exhales to roll up and roll back down 3 times. So we'll inhale, roll up from the base of the spine, the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the neck, and then the head. And then exhale, roll back down, head, neck, shoulders, shoulder blades, base of the spine. Squeeze that belly button in the entire time. We're on our last time, so this time as we inhale and roll up, let's go ahead and sweep the arms up into full sun. And then as we exhale, go ahead and lower them to heart center. Remember to practice kind thoughts, kind words, and kind intentions. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for coming to Balance Flow. Again, my name is Ashley. Be sure to check out our Instagram and YouTube for more videos that we'll be doing over the summer. Stay safe, stay hydrated, go runners.